Hey, how's it going, you guys? Welcome back to yet another Marvel movie review. And here today, we are here to review Antman and the Wasp. So, this is actually a movie that kind of. Well, okay, let me just say this. While I was in development of making these reviews for you guys, I was gonna do Captain Marvel after I did the Thor review, but what happened was that I forgot Ant-Man and the Wasp was a movie I didn't also review too. Because really, when it comes to the MCU movies that I haven't reviewed, you know, when the YouTube channel barely started, like this one was the movie that I forgot about, and also I did have a review of Ant-Man and the Wasp a long time ago, but it got ruined. I thought it was a little bit shitty, and so I never uploaded it, and I basically abandoned it and all that sort of stuff. But here today, I'm here to go back, and I'm here to, of course, review Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm basically going to be going over the stuff I like and the stuff I didn't like. But before I do get into that, I would just like to say, in the theater, I really, really enjoyed this freaking movie. I was very excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Felt like we need a little bit of a breather after Avengers Infinity War, but I mean, of course, like hell, we wanted more from, of course, from Avengers Infinity War, which hell, that movie was, of course, it was pretty crazy. And just to clarify, this movie takes place, I think, before the events of Avengers Infinity War. But one thing is for sure, and that is that post-credit scene did take place during Avengers Infinity War, of course. But anyways, with that being said in mind, let's just get into the positive stuff of this movie. So the first thing that came to my mind when really thinking about this movie was, I mean, in the title, it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the Wasp did not disappoint. Of course, Evangeline Lilly plays Hope Van Dyne, who is the current Wasp, because we know that in the MCU, Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne were the Wasp. Of course, in the comics, that was completely, different. But this is the movie, and I love her. I love her a lot. When it came to, of course, her character, and of course, when it came to, the action scenes, they were all great. Of course, in the first movie, she was pushed back a little bit, and now she finally gets to have that roam and whatnot, sort of have you. Of course, Michael Douglas, another thing I like, was again a great, and I mean a great Hank Pym. Would have been interesting if, Michael Douglas, imagine in an alternative universe where, like, Michael Douglas was the Ant-Man of this current MCU, or just imagine if he would have been the Ant-Man currently in the MCU, but of course, he's too old, of course, to play Hank Pym. But I like what the MCU did in picking out who would be the Ant-Man, because, of course, the Ant-Man persona has gone throughout different people and whatnot, sort of have you. So he was definitely a plus for me. Definitely the scenes with Luis, with the wombats and all that sort of stuff. Great stuff, great stuff. Michael Pena, once again, is great in this movie. And, I mean, I'm expecting a lot more from him soon to come, and Ant-Man 3, Quantum Mania, and all that sort of stuff. The scenes with Scott and Cassie, like the first opening scene, like that was a pretty nice touch. And any scene with Cassie and her, I mean, it's pretty great too. It's kind of unfortunate how now that actress, her role or her time as Cassie has come to an end, because, well, we know that Cassie is going to be a full-on grown-up when we get to Ant-Man 3, and all that sort of stuff. Jimmy Woo, who, of course, is the FBI agent who keeps an eye on Scott. From all the government characters in the MCU, he's probably one of the best. He's one of the best ones, and, I mean, hell, I'm also enjoying him. And, of course, in WandaVision, currently as of right now, which, as of now, it is 8:30 here, and WandaVision is supposed to, the next episode 5, is supposed to come out in 3 hours, so keep that in mind. So yeah, I love Jimmy Woo. The action scenes were also pretty cool too, mostly all of them. I especially love the one where Wasp is fighting, of course, those guys in the restaurant and then in the kitchen. That was pretty cool. The chase scene, with where that you have that Hello Kitty Pez dispenser. Um, that was funny too. Also the de aging on Michael Douglas and also on Janet Van Dyne. I forget the actress. I'm sorry, but the de aging on those actors in those scenes, those were great too. Those were really really good as well. And whatnot, so have you. And speaking of Hank and Janet Van Dyne, the scene where they of course reunite with one another, that was a pretty good touching moment between, of course, both of them and whatnot have you. I mean, Michael Douglas's acting was on par. It was good. It was really really good. And also, the comedy is also really good in this movie too. I think my favorite comedy piece scene was, of course, our infamous Luis, breaking down, the backstory, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, yeah, but definitely good comedy and whatnot, or have you. But the one that comes to my mind that tops the rest has to be the one in the school scene. I don't know why, but in the theater, I was cracking up, with the mini version of the Antman theme. And then also I don't know. I think it was because of the music, really, because it was just like, the, you know, the way it just went. Like, I think the way that they did the theme, it cracked me up for some reason. Yeah, that's the most I've cracked up in a Marvel movie, you know? So, interesting stuff there. Probably along with the Hulk being the shit out of Loki and Avengers. But, so I've mentioned the positive stuff. And I overall have to say, there's a lot of positive things to say about this movie. Like, but of course, when it comes to every movie, there always is a sin. So, what is that sin, you ask? Or what are the sins? Well, let's get into the stuff I didn't like. Number one, Scott felt a little bit dumb in this movie. Now, what I kind of mean by this is Scott's character is a little bit of a downgrade, I guess we can say, or they kind of make him really dumb and really sort of goofy throughout the movie. Like, I don't know how. Like Antman felt kind of lame in this movie, and he's the title character. And the weird thing is that when Paul Rudd was doing, or it was an interview. There was an interview once with Paul Rudd. Like, I think it was a Wired Complete interview, or something like that. But he was basically answering a bunch of questions on Google, saying like, "Hey, why is Ant-Man so goddamn weak?" and all this sort of stuff. And Captain Marvel is like more better than him, and I don't know. He tried to like that interview. Like, there was an interview where really what kind of Paul Rudd was like, yep, my character was pretty crappy in the last Solo movie, but I mean, I still love Scott nonetheless, but I mean, definitely here he felt a little bit dumb, I guess, of course, we can say. The villain, of course, who is a Ghost, she sounded very, very interesting. Like, she was an interesting villain, but I mean, I don't know. For her, she was just kind of that annoying-ish sort of villain, or not much. There was a lot of stuff to her, but I don't know. It didn't really. I think it did. It wasn't really executed a lot better. I guess we can say. And I guess the final thing that I need to mention is Sonny Birch, who is, really, to be quite honest with you, you could have cut Sonny Birch from this movie, and I guess it would have been better. Like, I don't know, like, hell, I mean, Marvel, like, these solo Marvel movies really struggle with their villains. It honestly does. The only ones that don't struggle with, to my mind, are, okay, Spider-Man Homecoming had a good Vulture. The Vulture was good in Spider-Man Homecoming. Eric Killmonger was great in Black Panther, albeit that movie is just overrated too much. And then, of course, Thanos and all this sort of stuff. But I mean, yeah, these some Marvel villains are really just not great and all that sort of stuff. So I guess that's overall what I have to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp. This was a movie that it was a good breather between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame and whatnot, sort of have you. So, I overall have to say it was a good movie, but overall, it was not as good as the first one. I still feel like the first one is still, of course, the best. I think maybe because Edgar Wright wrote that movie, most of it, and then Marvel fired him, and then they took his ideas. And of course, Peyton Reed directed both of these movies, and Peyton Reed ain't bad, and whatnot, sort of have you. I mean, I kind of gained a little more respect for him because he directed the final episode of Mando season 2. Of course, The Rescue, but I mean, hell, that's besides the point. So overall, I have to give this movie a 7 out of 10 movie. A good movie, nonetheless. So yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it, guys. That is my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed my thoughts. And the next movie review is most likely going to be... It's most likely going to be Captain Marvel, which that's a movie I've been waiting on, and that's a movie that I'm going to be taking a lot of notes for. Because, get this, guys, I have a whole bunch of... Because I've written a bunch of notes here, so I know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, because, of course, with the Thor Ragnarok review, I spoke what was in my mind, and all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, so thank you all for watching. And by the way, I did get my COVID test today. Results will most likely come back maybe tomorrow, and I'll update you guys all with my current health situation. And most likely throughout the week, there won't be another week of Spider Cup Series racing. I'm just going to say that. But with all that being said in mind, thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and see you next time.